What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Think Outside the BlueBox podcast. We are deep in season 3. I am bringing back one of my favorite artists. He's a local here in Tampa. He's been on the podcast a few times, but he's such an amazing artist, and he just came out with a new album, and I want to get to know where he is now in his journey. So welcome to the pod, the one and only PushaPreme.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the love, man.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and like we were talking about before the podcast, this is a podcast about people who think different, people who are out there doing big things and just have a different mindset. Because to do what we do, to be business owners and to be successful, you kind of have to have a little bit of different mindset. You have to think about things a little bit differently. So why don't we just jump right in, man? What's been up? What have you been up to since the last time we talked?
So now I just been more so trying to just like educate a lot of the artists out there, and not just music artists, painters, just creators and things of that nature. I feel like the platform for Tampa right now, it's like super open, but we need to be able to kind of just put legs under the table, so to speak, so that we can keep it going, so that like 10 years from now, they're still there. There's a lot of changes that's coming into Tampa. New businesses, food and beverages, new like entertainment and stuff like that. But we want to make sure that the core of Tampa is not just this cookie cutter, come here, eat, drink, and then go home. Like, no, there's live music here, there's live art here, there's fashion here, there's a lot of things here. It's a big melting pot. So I just want people that come visit to really just bask into it, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I've seen a change. I was looking up the first time you and I spoke was back in 2022.
Ooh.
It's been a few years. The landscape, especially here in Tampa, has changed quite a bit since COVID. So what kind of changes have you seen in the art industry?
I've seen sadly I've seen a lot of venues close, man. Like a bunch of venues close, and then like nobody really like replacing them, you know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of clubs close and they just changed the name and the clubs back up, but they're not doing that with a lot of these venues here. So, but they are trying, you know, like you have Floatorama in St. Pete, to where there's like a kind of like an immersive hub for a lot of the artists to kind of just shine. So, you know, when I see things like that, it just kind of is like a red flag to me to make sure that, okay, if we don't take heed to this and you know, build a certain step of responsibility, then we can lose this. You know, every artist wants to get paid and stuff like that, but it's like, how can we reinvest it back into the landscape so that we'll be able to enterprise this further, you know, so that anything that happens to me, somebody else can be like their own version of PushaPreme or Tom G, things of that nature. And I see people are growing with it, you know, like people like Tom and Young Dread. They open the food truck market now, so like artists that do food, which is great, you know. So now it's like, okay, what's the next step? Like, can we turn this food truck into like maybe like a building, and maybe that building can have like different artwork that's posted up there, like how Jason Skelter has his artwork in these other places, stuff like that. So I'm just seeing it how it is. And me coming from New York, I don't want this to become like what Brooklyn is now, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have a lot of power in that, but it's just like, if you have a really good crafty coffee spot or beer spot, we don't need that to be Starbucks. We already know what Starbucks looks like, you know what I'm saying? Not like you change anything about it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to just, you know, just do what God tells me, you know. I feel like I've been blessed, you know, being here from Tampa. I call it the home of second chances, and, you know, if just my calling, then so be it, you know?
Yeah, no, and since even 2022, when you and I spoke, this entire Tampa market has changed completely. There's been so much money that has been poured into the city. Mm-hmm. There's a lot, like you go to downtown and now it's hustle, bustle. You know,
Water
traffic.
Street's crazy.
Yeah.
It
used to be a ghost town. I remember when I first moved here in '93, downtown was a ghost town. It felt like a small city. You know, now it's starting to feel a little bit like we're on the map.
I mean, and I feel like it's well deserved too. You know, with us not having state tax and things of that nature, is like, you know, a lot of people come here to retire, but like everyone's retiring early from the military. From just getting like big money or being like trust fund kids or whatnot, or making good investments. So you're not old. I feel like how they say that times change. So like money back in 200 to 2000 not the same how it is now. I don't think 50 like how it was in the 2000s, like 50 today. Like 50 today, you can still have a lot of fun. You can still chase a lot of your dreams, spend time with your family, build a family. You know.
I've heard that the majority of successful businesses are started after someone's 40. So after 40, that's when people take, you know, business serious. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's when, you know, some people see the ticking clock and it's just like, let me make sure.
Time's running out.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and my business is doing really well. Speaking
Amen
of which,
to that, man. Proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I remember in the beginning, you know, for me it was just like the landscape of it, just like, yo, this looks so dope, and it was so new, and
it's all about the perception.
Yeah, but
reality.
Yes, but you've definitely turned. I can't even call it perception because it's like it's living proof. Just do the work. It's just and that's what makes you an artist. You just took something that was in your mind, this imagination, and you turned it into reality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's consistency too. Consistency is the key, because as long as you're doing something consistently over time, success is inevitable.
That's true.
It's inevitable.
That is true. Consistency is the father of success, for real.
Yeah. And speaking of consistency, man, let's talk about that new album. You've been gone for a little while, so I know you've been working real hard on this, and I've heard from your Instagram that this is one of your favorite projects. So why don't we just jump right in? Let's talk about Some Hearts Are Meant to Be Broken.
And they are. Yeah, so it's just the EP that we worked on. We piggybacked off working with Mike the Don, old friend of mine, and then we just kind of got into the studio and just worked naturally. You know, he took acapellas from a song that I had before, and he turned it to the song Levels. And you know, I like the shift from me being an Afrobeat artist to just still loving hip hop. So I was just like, I'm just Afro fusion. I didn't want to be like boxed in. Just creating one kind of sound or just trying to fit in or anything like that, because now I felt like I was losing a lot of my hip hop fans. So what I just naturally did was just like, okay, well, we're just going to just put everything together and make the music that I like listening to. So, you know, it's very forward when it comes to, you know, the same drum pattern that you'll get with like Afro beats, but it's a lot more musical, and the beats breathe a little bit more, giving you more of that, like that Jersey house kind of feel. So it's a mixture of like Afro house and hip hop, if I had to like a way to describe it. So I just wanted to kind of just make something that could be enjoyable in any settings, where you're going to the gym, you're, you know, writing your memoirs, or you're picking your kids up from school. Just something that's like, let's shoot them up, bang, bang, and let's like put this here, put that there. You know what I'm saying? Just try to just make some easy storytelling, free-flowing music, you know? Kind of like how, not to put myself in that same thing, like kind of like how Sade would give you like, the worst day of her life, and it just be like, you just be like, oh man, this song is so good, but she's like pouring her soul out. So I try to, you know, look at the greats like that and follow, you know, in their footsteps. Yeah,
and this is a special project because I heard you say that this is the first one that you haven't used pre-made beats.
Yeah.
So 100% from scratch.
100% from scratch. So sometimes like I would take like an influence from like another song, and then I like the strings from here, I like the this from here. So this time we just kind of just went in there just based off acapella. So I would just give them like, you know, just writtens, or just, we call them top lines, so I can't even really call them written. So it's just hums and mumbles that I just hear, and then we just kind of just build a beat around, and then we just go in there and we perfect it. So this is like a group project. So everybody at Grand Bay Studios, Mike the Don, Wild Child Beats, we put them all, and Eric Mason, we just kind of like built it from scratch. And I feel like that's why it has such an authentic sound to it, you know?
Did you work in collaboration with everyone from the beginning?
Yeah. Like we recorded with Soda, then we gave it to Joe to clean up, then, you know, Prada would do something to it, then Mike would record it, and then went to Lex, and then Lex just kind of did all the mastering, you know? It was a longer process, but it's like I got to find out so many different things about myself during that thing, you know what I mean?
What did you find?
I feel like I found that there's perfection and imperfection, you know? Like, I didn't like that, so let me go to somebody else, and then we record it again, and then, man, the original idea was a good idea, so I learned to trust myself a lot more when it came to it, you know?
Trust your gut.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, man. Let's listen to a little bit of that first track.
Okay.
So why did you decide to start it with this one?
Honestly,
I know you put a lot of thought into like the order.
So originally it wasn't supposed to be that one. It was gonna be it was supposed to be Secrets, but we went with this one because of the reaction that we had at the listening party. So Mike took point on the listening party, and he just kind of went off that one. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, let's kind of like, let's see what happens. And then when we started, cause we put it together like real late. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I just took like a whole new different route when it comes to music. I just kind of focused on consumer base, just selling the songs. So I was just really putting a lot of ads to his Amazon, and what was the other one that we was doing? And Apple Music, and iTunes. So, you know, I've been doing this for a while, so I see all the charts of like all the different countries, and I was just like, let's just advertise. We'll be like, all right, 67 cents. Let's see what happens. And then people were just purchasing it, so we charted that week. So I'm like, okay, that's gonna be the first song because this one did so well. Let's keep it going, you know. And I feel like it had like the most Afro influence with the drums and stuff like that. And it's the first song that me and Eli's on. So Eli's the one that's playing the guitar for my band.
Wow.
So I feel like it would be special to kind of like introduce that, because now we're all like back together. The band's back together. I got 2 producers that I really enjoy working together. I'm working at Grand Bay like every day, not like going from studio to studio. So, it had like a little bit of significance to it. And then the name of the song's called Blame It On Me. So I feel like, some hearts are meant to be broken, but I have to blame it on myself for those hearts being broken,
So let's talk about the title. Some hearts are meant to be broken. What kind of gave you that idea? What does that mean to you?
So for me, it's kind of like an inevitable part of the human experience, right? Where you have to go through these hearts, because I come from a very non-emotional like background. Like, my mom was super tough, super strict, right? So my wife, she's very emotional, not in a bad way, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't come for me, women. But now having my daughter, my third daughter, is like, dang, like when I see her like get upset and cry and stuff like that, I got to realize that she has to go through these tough times, that she has to go through her emotions, even though I want her to be tougher, but she has to go through these things to be able to grow as a person. Because she's going to meet somebody like me in her life. She's going to meet somebody like you. And one of the two of us is going to upset her and hurt her feelings. So, but those broken hearts are meant to happen so you'll be able to grow from there. Sometimes you have to break your arm to make it stronger. And I went through that through my sense, just understanding people, friendships, and things of that nature. A lot of loyalty has been broken, a lot of betrayal, stuff like that. And at the time, I just thought it was because of me and not them, but it's like, no, it's because of the situation. I need these things to happen to be able to grow as a person.
It's a lesson. Everything you go through is a lesson. And I full transparency, when I went through my divorce, that heartbreak needed to happen for me to become who I am today. So
And who are you today?
I am Anthony Rivera from BlueBox.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, no, the entrepreneur, the hustler, the artist, I'm able to, focus on myself a little bit more. I learned so many lessons that I've taken into later relationships, and every heartbreak along the way gives me that little extra piece of me.
Yeah.
So who I am today who is sitting in front of you right now is, the person that had to go through that to get to this spot.
I like this person.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I think art is an expression of pain and suffering and lessons that you've learned throughout your entire life. I think to be an artist, to be creative, you have to go through that. If you look at all the greats, they've all gone through
That's true.
Quite a bit in their lives, and it's all a lesson. You can either go one way or you can go another. You see it as a lesson, or you could see it as, I'm a victim.
Yeah.
And that victim mentality sends you down a really dark path. But I chose to go through, this is a lesson. This was meant to happen for me to learn this specific lesson and for me to go down this path.
I love it.
Yeah. Let's talk about the cover. Speaking of your daughter, I know she has a lot of influence in what the
heavy
art
influence,
looks like.
man. She's just like, all my kids, but her in particular is like, she's my first daughter through a marriage, what I'm saying, under God's eye. So I feel like my responsibilities of just being a dad has been heightened to a higher regard, and
yeah. So how's being a dad influenced you as an artist?
I feel like I guess it just gives me more purpose, make sure that I kind of move with
a little bit more intentionality.
Yeah. That's actually a great word for that. I was trying to think about what's the battery in the back, but because I feel like I've always had that battery in the back, but it just does something a little bit more, and this makes me a little bit more conscious of how I storytell the situations. Like, Blame It On Me was like, that one was like the first time I was just like, should I talk about this? You know what I'm saying? And then my homegirl Kat, she was like, she does the creative directing for the team. Mm-hmm. She was just like, you have to talk about your vulnerability. And then my man Francis, he does security for us. He's just like, yeah, you got to talk about it, leave that in there. Because I didn't want the whole popping pill things to create an influence. But the thing is, like I said, my oldest daughter, she's already in college and stuff like that. So I don't know if she's ever tried that before, but she's told me she smoked before. You know what I'm saying? So At first, just like any dad, I'm furious about something like that. But then I think about to go through the human experience or the human experiment, some of these things you're going to run into, you're going to try for the first time so that you can just get over the fear or make a decision of like, hey, do I have an addictive personality and stuff like that. So, she's a big role model for this project because I feel like moving forward, a lot of my music is going to be how I'm maintaining the relationship with her, the relationship with my wife, her mom, and then the relationship with myself. You know what I'm saying? I've always been really big with the inner child when it comes to the art level. Now I have to do it from more of like the emotional level and be like, okay, this is what happens here, because this is like my first full time.
Yeah.
I'm not doing like the whole weekend dad thing or having to fly from New York and back and forth like that. So,
wow, so every day.
Yeah, so every day. So it's like bedtimes and stuff like that and properly planning. So it's building my structure as like a man, but it's also testing my patience at all times.
I feel that. Yes, sir. Yeah, the kids will test you, man.
Yo, for real. For real.
So going back to the cover, I know is it her face on there?
Yeah, so big shout outs to Mix. He's the one that created it. Dolly's my second favorite artist. First one is God, and everything I do kind of try to like let people know about Dolly and how special she is to me and how much of an influence he is. And so the cover is her, and then inside the cover work you have Angie's in there, and like her from the maternity shoot. There's a baby version of me that stands out to me. That's when I first got baptized, but I don't remember much about like the younger version of me. But as I'm creating this album, I'm hearing it and I'm seeing Sahara, like those images are kind of like flashing back. It's kind of like when Wolverine was like trying to remember who he was before they shot him in the head in the X-Men. It's just like, I don't know if it was just like trauma based, but like certain things I just don't remember. You know what I'm saying? But they come to me kind of like in and out from there. So, I wanted to kind of just like show her because she's going to be one of those hearts that's going to be meant to be broken to become a better person, and everything that in there is kind of like a little bit of symbolism. There's like another version of Preme. When Ange met me, you have the chainsaw P that has the eye kind of like bringing down with it. It still has the African reference with Sierra Leone, got the flag there, the eye like horse, and with in Egypt, stuff like that. So there's a lot of symbolism in there.
I love
it. I tried to make a lot of my album covers just based off Michael Jackson's Dangerous. I think that was like, if I ever was to get, God forbid, Alzheimer's or dementia, I would never forget that.
Yeah.
That I remember when I saw that cover in, what was it at the time? It was Best Buy. Went to Best Buy and I saw that cover and it just struck a nerve in my body and I was like, whoa, like I've never seen anything like this. This was before I knew about it being a carnival or whatever people want to create with kind of superstitions, whatever with it. But that cover art was amazing. And from there, then I just started like focusing more on cover art, like the Sgt. Pepper's one. Like there's so many dope covers that kind of like tell a story without telling it. And I was like, that's what I want to do moving forward with all of my projects.
Yeah, and even if not everyone's going to get every little detail in there, but you will.
Yeah, and then I think it's just like, it also for people that are vinyl owners, it's like if you get the vinyl of that, it's going to be so clear for you to see those things. It's like, yo, this vinyl is like worth it. So
sick. Yeah, so what's your favorite song from the project?
That's a good question, man.
That's like choosing your favorite child, right?
I know. Man. It changes by the days. I think right now I would say Come Alive is probably my favorite one, but I really like Unholy because Unholy, that one we didn't have no structure. Lex is just like just go in there, just hum, and then we just bring it back. And I like the fact that like I proud Mike the Don into the booth to kind of record as well in there too. But yeah, that I think is between those two because Come Alive, like I remember when I heard the beat when Mike sent me the beat. And it was nowhere where it sounds now, like nowhere. And that beat's super old. When he told me, and I hate when he gives me old beats, I'm just like, bro, why are we doing this? But when I heard it, it was like one of those times where I just heard the hook from the car ride to putting the Sahara down to taking the shot. Because we had a show that day, I remember.
Oh, no way.
So, yeah, we did have a show that day. Holy cow. So I just remembered that the hook throughout the whole time. And then I was like, yo, bro, we got to record this now. And then it's funny. So we booked the studio time, and then we was like rushing, right? And I'm just like, you know what? Ange has something going on. So I was like, dang. I called my homie. I was like, hey, watch the horror in the studio. We're gonna go to the studio. I got to record this today. And then she was like, you're forcing it. So we was making our way out there, and we got pulled over, and the cop's like, yo, are you speeding? I'm just like, damn, I haven't got a speeding ticket in like 40 years. I'm not that old, but like that's how long it felt.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm gonna just go home. So I went home. He let me go with a warning, and then it was still stuck in my mind. And then by the time I got there with Mike and we finally recorded it, it was like a one take thing, like boom, got it in there. Done. You know what I mean? It's like having that passion to do something and being able to wait goes back to like the level of patience.
Yeah. How does this project compare to your previous projects?
Ooh, that's tough, man. That's tough. I was just thinking about that before I got here, because most people would say that Before I Say I Do is like my best work. Me personally, I like Heroes Eventually Die. That one I really like, because it's like I really dove into more of the Afro, and then it was like so fun with me and Indy working like all the time. But then Hate to Say Goodbye is like, that was the one where I was up here with you. That one holds like so much significance, meaning, and people were actually buying that one. Like when we had the project, and we're like, yo, we're doing this so that we can just not only just help with my grandmother's funeral, but to put the plaque. Like the support from that one was like unmatched. And then like my favorite rap one would probably be like Red October, because I was just trying to just like rap like the rap ones do back then. So
no way. So it seems like if every album describes a stage in your life.
Yes, definitely.
What stage in your life are you in right now?
I say like fatherhood. This is like my fatherhood stage.
Yeah.
And then just and then dealing with coming to terms with like the emotional struggles I guess I've had when it comes to just whether it's like relationships with women or relationships with my wife or relationship with homies. I think this one kind of defines all of those things, you know?
Oh, that's amazing, man. Yeah, and it's amazing to see the progress too, because I've seen you since a couple albums ago, so I've got to see the progression. It's amazing to see the music evolve and you come into your own. Now doing this from scratch, literally, like every single sound on there was made from scratch. So it's an honor, man. Honestly,
appreciate that, man. For real.
And if I can, my favorite one is Levels.
For real?
Yeah. So I'll play a little bit of that.
That was good.
That's a good one.
He was talking about just the things that are going on in the industry. So we made Levels because we had just got back from Rock Nation. So we wound up doing the distribution deal with Rock Nation. And I thought it was going to be like the intro to Coming to America. I thought it was going to be like, rose petals. I'm just like, hey guys, all right, yeah. And just like
the big entrance.
No, it was just like, all right, here's the context of the things. Here, when you do this, we do this. And I was like, guys, like there's levels to this thing. So
let's hear this drop.
Yeah, Mike snapped on this one.
That beat though, man. Woo. I was rocking to this before you walked in.
Oh no, this one is like my gym song.
Is it interesting for you to see, because I know you have an emotional attachment to these projects, so is it interesting to see people react differently? Like if they, like let's say you pour something, your whole entire process into this thing, and you say, this is it, this is gonna be the hit, but then when you release it, people like other ones better.
Yeah. Man, I thought when we did Think I Need My God, I thought everyone was going to be like, this is so amazing. And we did the trailer. We had Model with the flamethrowers. That was like my favorite song. But it was so Kanye, Jay-Z influenced. Yeah. I felt like that was like an era for me that people weren't like ready for. And I was just like, oh, okay. You guys don't, all right. It's not that it's bad. It's just like, we like this instead of that. So I was like, okay, cool.
Do you let kind of like the market drive your next project? Like,
no. See, I used to do that. Yeah. So what I do now is just like, I just try to just stay in the realm of what I like, because I know there's like a million versions of myself that has the same kind of ear, and I want to just kind of pertain towards them. So I'm in my like dance music era. Like I want to hear like these cool stories, and I just want to just let the music just kind of play, you know what I'm saying? So I was listening to a lot of just like a YouTube, and it's like 90s dance, you know what I'm saying? So all those songs from I'm trying to think of a song, but like da da dee da da da. Some of them it sounds like noise, but when you read the lyrics, it like tell you what's going on. Or even I Do Bo Jane and Zane, like they're going through an issue right there to where they're having there's something's going on there. So when I thought about that, the first thing that popped in my mind was that scene in Blade, where he's like fighting everybody, but this particular song is playing. So I wanted to make sure that these songs are like a soundtrack to drive your life. You know what I'm saying? Like these percussions, these drums, the energy that comes from it. It's like you can still hear it, but like if you ever want to kind of like dive back, you know, plug the Matrix in and kind of see what's going on, you can actually picture in your mind the video without me having to create it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a journey. So you are in control pretty much. Like you like to be in control of the entire process from beginning to end, including music videos.
No, I used to. I like to be collective. You know what I'm saying? I was always the person in art class where it's just like, you know, and they'd be like, hey, Anthony and Indy, you guys gonna do a project together? And I'm like, yes, like, you know what I'm saying? Nice. I love working as a team. And Mike helped out a lot. Lex helped out a lot too, especially with "Wrong My Rights." He was just like, "Hey, we're gonna make a song with 50 words or less." I'm like, 50 words or less? I'm like, what? But it works though because sometimes, you know, the person that's behind the actual picture frame can see more than when you can see because you're so close to the picture frame. You're just like all the details, but. If you
stand back, yeah, and having a third perspective,
of course, yeah,
and that's what I was kind of getting at too. Is that once you work on something artistic and you let people into that, they put their 2 little cents into there. So it makes it, in my opinion, way better than it would have been if it was just me. Yeah, because like you said, I'm so close to the subject matter. Like I'm so close that I can't see the whole picture. But other people can. Yeah. And then they put their little creativity into it, and it just turns out so much better.
And it takes a village too, man. Mm-hmm. I was on this panel with this one artist, and then she was just talking about like, yeah, I do everything myself. You know, I do this myself, I do that myself. And I'm like, take it easy. Like, it's okay to get help. You know what I'm saying? It's okay like, if you look at something as simple as like orange juice, right? Get the orange juice, let's turn it around. Look at the contents in the orange juice. It's this, water, that. It's not just orange. The oranges is not doing all of the work. The water's doing the work. The can's doing the work. Like, it's okay to do things collectively. Like, that's what God intended. He wanted people to come together, not just like stand apart by themselves and like have this like megalomaniac attitude. Not her, but just some people just feel like, hey, it gotta be me. I gotta be this final decision. No, that's why they have basketball coaches. You know what I'm saying? You have the basketball coach, and then you have the player. Even in tennis, you have a coach. Yeah. Even boxers have coaches. Multiple coaches.
The best athletes in the world need that coach, and they need to see their own videos of themselves, you know, from an outsider's perspective, so they could see what they're doing wrong. You know, the golf swing is a prime example. It's like the people have that. Tiger Woods has a coach. Like, he's been doing it forever. He's the best of all time. Like, he still needs a coach. Yeah, he still needs that third perspective.
It's like I don't know where I think what happens is like a lot of people just feel like because they don't get the credit that they feel like they have to stand alone. But a brand is never built up of one person. Nike's one check, but it represents so many people. So many. You know what I'm saying? The stars on the flag represent all the states. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, once you understand that, and you have to live a lot too. You know, I don't know, you know how old the young lady was, stuff like that. But once you live a certain amount of time, you get to see so many different versions of this world that you kind of figure out like the keys and the gems to it. So, yeah, for me now, I'm very open. Now, granted, some of them don't feel like too many people should be in the pot because there's too many chefs, and we do have bad sessions like that when everyone's putting an opinion. Yeah, change this word. But I mean, if those things going to happen, nothing's going to be ultimately perfect. Sometimes you're going to have some things that's like imperfect. You know what I'm saying? It's not. We're not machines. You know, we're making like lines and stuff like that. We're kind of just going step by step, trace by trace.
Speaking of machines, what is your thoughts on AI? And
I like AI. I use AI a lot.
You use it as a tool? Yeah. Like how do you incorporate that?
So I use it when it comes to just more so organization. I use it more so for like emails, like just so I could just get my point across. Like I don't have like an English major degree, right? But if I want to get my point across, I know sometimes I may add a metaphor, add a story so that what I want to say gets like understood. Because I feel like for me, just through the course of time, I don't feel like everyone understands me like right then and there, you know what I'm saying? But that also comes from like all the backlash I got because of the mask, you know what I'm saying? But and now everyone's like, oh yeah, I want to do a mask too because because not only just to recognize who I am, but now they're doing it too. Like Young Thug just did an interview and in the mask, and he's just like, oh, like what's all this about? He's like, yeah, I don't think people deserve to see me, you know, because like I'm a celebrity, but I'm still a person. Duh, like you know what I'm saying? Like I've been for me, it's like I see something. And I think about like how it's going to affect the ripple effect. You know what I'm saying? My mom has always been like that. Like whatever happens today, think about your 4 tomorrows. And I just, you know, sometimes you can just kind of foreshadow that. So, you know, some people are not going to get it now. I may not be what Kanye say? I may not be right now, But you know what I'm saying? But when the time comes, you're going to understand where I'm coming from. So I use AI for that. I use AI for planning. And it's kind of like challenging myself too. Like, I talk to her in the morning time when my car drives, and they'll be like, oh, how's going on today? He's like, hey, for the podcast, what things that you think are going to bring up? What do you think is going to be your biggest challenge? And then we just conversate like that just to keep me sharp,
It's kind of like having an assistant.
Yeah.
That knows everything about you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Hey, man.
I use AI, as you already found out earlier.
Oh yeah, the phone call blew my mind, but that's dope though. Like, because it comes back to what we said before. You can't do it by yourself. Yeah. I just think that like there's a lot of fear monger that comes behind it. But AI's been around for years. Like the voicemail, please leave a message after the tone. That's AI.
Yeah.
Auto text. That's AI. You know what I mean? It's just some people feel like it's gonna take it to like a bigger step. And I was talking to Jones by the Beat, so he's trying to have AI make music, and I was like, you could do it, but we're gonna tell. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear the Kendrick Lamar, if he was like in the 50s and he's doing the Not Like Us, I can tell from the breath control, I could tell from the emotion. Like music doesn't work like that. It's frequencies, but it's still like a soul that kind of like seeps through for you to connect with. So I'm not afraid of the Terminator. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid of the Terminator.
Yeah, and a lot of people are sketched off because of that, and I believe you. I agree with you in the sense that, like, when somebody sends me an email that was typed by ChatGPT, I can tell. Mm-hmm. Like, there's certain words that it uses and things that you can tell. So I'm sure with the music, it's kind of the same, that where it kind of samples from existing music, which a lot of people see that as theft. How do you feel about that? Being, part of the creative process.
It's just tough, man, because music is subjective, you know what I'm saying? And hip hop's been sampling for years, which was another topic we had on the panel too. They were just like, yeah, just be original. And I'm like,
I love that, because it always goes to, inspiration versus theft. Like what sampling versus actually stealing something. Like how do you see AI fitting into that?
I think AI would be I don't know how to fit in, because the way that I work is just like I'm already getting like a village helping me create something. But if I was to use it for anything, I think just like vocal aligning would be dope for it. Like a lot of the cleanup work. Mm-hmm. That way in 2 hours, we're not just doing one song. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, I get in there and the AI is like, okay, let me turn the preamp to make sure the preamp's going to be good for this. Like, just do that portion of it. Like, get a set to save us time. I would like that, because my cutoff comes, then I got to be with my family. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now I've lost that. I don't have the 12-hour days I used to have, things like that. So that's how I would use it. But how would it work in today's day and age? I'm not too sure. I see Timbaland using Sonos, and it's really working well with him. Just even like beat loops and stuff like that. I feel like there's a little bit of AI inside that as well too. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's evolving.
Indeed it is. For sure. Indeed it is.
What's let's go back to your music now. What's your process? Do you start with the music? Do you start with the lyrics? Do you just feel a vibe and just create?
So we have like a conversation about it, and then like Wild Child would ask me what kind of vibe I want, and I'd be like, whatever mood you're in. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what mood you're in, and let's see if like my story could resonate with that. So he'll just go off a mood. Sometimes I'll send him like inspirations. I'll be like, hey, like watch this I sent him these African kids that were in church, and they were just singing. I'm like, just draw from here, and then he'll just come back not using any of what I gave him, and he'll create something from there. Because sometimes the frequencies just have to just match with you. Yeah. So we do top lines, so it'll just be a bunch of hums, a bunch of from there, and we go. And then sometimes I'll come with something written, because I just came from that background, and then I wouldn't use any of it. Probably maybe the idea of the metaphor and
just
stuff
like that.
Yeah, because that levels verse is like that's not the original verse. That's another verse. Okay. That we use. Same thing with Blame It On Me. That's not the original verse either. Like I came with something written, but it didn't align with it, or it was just too wordy, or it was just too metaphoric and things of that nature. But I had to get that out.
Yeah. How has your definition of success changed from when you started to now? Like, what does success mean to you? Like, what?
For me, I just wanted a lot of accolades. I wanted a Grammy. I want this. I want to be part of that soundtrack.
In the beginning, when you first started?
Yeah, in the beginning, because so many people doubted me, so I just wanted to just you wanted
to be legitimized.
Hell yeah, you know what I'm saying, and be like, yeah, you, man. I did it, but no one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares. Like, no one cares who won the championship last year in the NBA. It's just like, did you win the championship this year? Mm-hmm. So it's just like, when I understood that about human beings, I was like, no, my thing is going to be is creating a legacy and educating people and then be revered that way. Just being somebody where someone could be like, yo, thank you, PushaPreme. Like, you did that for me. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like just giving back, taking all these gems and just passing them on and being okay with that. And I've been okay with that. A lot of my people that helped me out have done that with me, Reaching Over, H, they've passed down to me. Like, we talk so much more about like gems that he finds compared to what it was before, so it's been doing well, from our book bag drives. I never thought I'd be doing book bag drives and having a bunch of artists come together from Sarasota, St. Pete, Clearwater. We took every artist from every outside area of Tampa. We brought them together. We did a show at the Tempest building, the Tempest Project building, which is an art. It's still, like, they don't have shows there, and we did that. Or the shoe drive. I remember how it was for me. I could just be gatekeeping, greeting, keep all the shoes for myself, but it's like, yo, if I have these shoes that I want no more and people have shoes that they don't want no more, let's pass them on to these kids who their parents are really just kids that have to just deal with being a parent for the first time. Let's help them out so those kids have that confidence to go to school to be like, I don't have, Tommy Hilfiger or a Zara shirt on, but I got these kicks that people recognize with, so it makes me feel more accepted.
That's amazing, dude. And that's one of my favorite things about you, dude, is that you give back to the community because it's us, right? Mm-hmm. We are the community. So it's like we're helping each other out. You're inspiring people. What is your legacy, man? What do you want to leave when PushaPreme is no more? What do you want people to remember about you?
That the inner child that's in you doesn't go anywhere. He's still in there, like with the same 16, 18-year-old kids we were before. We're just a little taller, maybe we put on some weight, we got facial hair, but that person's still there. That person that gained whatever age that you gained your self-awareness is always there. Don't let the working world or just like the journey of life deter you from that. That's what I want. I want everybody to just be the artist that, if I can do it, you can do it. There's nothing that should be holding them back. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people hold themselves back. Just watching even the growth of my wife being this like content creator I remember when she used to like dread and cry. She's not a crybaby. I'm just like telling you guys like the real life about just recording reels because she's just like, I don't have enough makeup to make sure this looks good. I'm just like, just put it out. People like real. And now she's like the spokesperson for so many Hispanic moms that's out there that's going through the same thing that she's going through, the PCOS from, especially during the time with the post after they have a baby.
Yeah, the postpartum.
Postpartum, thank you. So my mind threw a blank. Postpartum, that thing was crazy. But I didn't know how many people suffer from that. And it runs the block. Like, it could be like from 1 year to 3 years to 4 years. And then now they don't have a husband or they don't have a boyfriend no more because of that. Yep. And they have no one to talk to. So, I just want to just make sure that like I give people like an open, revolving door to be able to just be themselves and create. We need more creators, you know what I'm saying? That's how we'll be able to control what AI is doing and stuff like that, because you'll be working the same speed that it's working, because AI is not sleeping.
Yeah.
It's not sleeping. So then some people just feel like, I'm too tired to do this, or I'm not going to do this because there's no money in there. Money is only, money is not there the way people think it's supposed to be there. You can have $1 billion in the bank, and it's not going to be as valuable as you having no money in the bank, but you have 3 homes. Everything has to be interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? So, when you look at it like that, you don't look for the game, you have more fun with it. And then it'll come to you. You'll find you'll be like, you know what? I can sell this. I can do a partnership. It'll come. Mm-hmm. It'll definitely, the money will come.
Yeah. If you do something that you're passionate about.
Yes.
For long enough, the money will come.
That's how the movie Sinners, like when I watched the storyline of homie that did the movie Sinners, it was a passion. He turned down a bunch of stuff and he got denied a bunch of times too. Wow. His story's crazy.
Insane. All right, brother. Well, we're going to end with this, and this is one of the deepest questions I'm going to ask you today. If you were to go back and have a conversation with your younger self before you started music, before, back in high school, let's say, what would you tell yourself?
Probably leave those girls alone, man. Leave them girls alone, man.
Work on
leave
yourself.
Those girls alone, man. Yeah, I think because my mom was so strict that I was really big on validation, you know what I'm saying? But validation ain't nothing, man. Validation would never be will hold no weight that God's affirmation is going to give you. So, I would tell myself that. But then again, it made me the man I am today. Like, it got me. I went to the military. I played basketball in college. I did this. I did that. I linked up with Nova. So I wouldn't want to change anything about it. But if I was going to tell myself something, because it took a while for me to get over that hump to try to find like, acceptance from like the female, like from girls and stuff like that. And I didn't know that about myself until way later. You know what I'm saying? Once I got married and I saw like they're all coming for me still, I'm just like, aw.
Your perspective changed.
Yeah, like it's not fun anymore. I can't even play in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but it's all good though. Like, I accept the flowers that come, and I hope the songs and the stories kind of just guide them however it may do.
For sure, man. You're a true inspiration. You're a real artist, and I can't say that about everyone that I've had on the podcast. Honestly,
appreciate that, man.
You're well-rounded. You're a good person. You do stuff for your community, and as long as you keep doing what you're doing, you can keep coming back here and talking about it.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you
being on the show. Thanks
again,
brother.
No doubt, man. Hope to see you at the next event. Big shout outs to our sponsors, Coppertail, Street Light Taco, Hidden Sound Village, Yuppies now. So we're going to be doing a lot more things with the community, a lot more things with the branding, and just really seeing how hip hop music has been inserted into a lot of the branding. We're just going to continue doing that, bringing more of the Afro culture into it as well too, and then just taking it from there. We just had the event at Velvet Gypsy, now she wants to kind of keep something going on. So I'm like, all right, let's do Juneteenth. Sick. I know you guys may not be known for that, but you don't have to be black to celebrate Juneteenth. It's like, let's all get together. Shoot, invite me to Yom Kippur, or invite me to St. Patty's Day. It's the same thing. So as more people just coming together, having a good time, I think that's going to just change the landscape of Tampa.
That's amazing, dude. And you got so much going on. Where can people go to find it all in one place? Do you have it all in one place?
Yes. So big shout outs to them. So it's PushaPreme.mychannel.com. Channel without the E. Has everything on there. We have a Patreon as well too. We do sweepstakes. We're raffling off a hat as well too, made by Miggs. That's the guy who made the cover. It's a glow in the dark hat, so it's really cool, really dope. It surprised a lot of your friends, and it charges up really well. Or just PushaPreme on Google, YouTube, Instagram. Not Napster. Don't steal my stuff, please, y'all.
Is Napster still a thing?
And then we have the album on Bandcamp as well too, if you want to support. So anybody that supports the album, we do a free raffle. We send you free shirts, free merch, free tickets to the shows, things of that nature. We highly appreciate it, because supporting the artists is what keeps us creative and keeps things going on. So that's PushaPreme.
You're the one and only.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Thanks again for being on the show, man.
No doubt. Make sure you like and subscribe, man. Let's make sure you keep this thing going, man. You know what I'm saying? BlueBox. Think out the BlueBox, all right?
I love it.
Peace.
Thank you so much.